Welcome to our show. This is Bronx Beats and I'm Jody Dietz and this is Betsy Caruso.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to talk about Schenectady.
Schenectady? Oh my god, I hate Schenectady. My cousin invited us for Thanksgiving and I told my husband I'm not going. It's disgusting. Who arranged this? No.
Honey, you're confused. Not Schenectady. Schenectady. Schenectady is a figure of speech in which a word or a phrase refers to a part of a whole or vice versa.
Okay, I get it. Like all hands on deck, the hands represent the whole body.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
alright. Who's our speaker today? This is Oriana. She's from the Emily Dickinson Museum. She's going to tell us about Schenectady.
How are you guys today?
We're doing
Phenomenal.
okay, you know.
So what do you want to talk about?
Well, basically, we want to know how and why Emily Dickinson utilizes Schenectady in her poems.
Okay, that's great, but I actually also think it's worth mentioning another figure of speech that she uses in her poetry called metonymy. Metonymy is a figure of speech in which a thing or concept is called not by its own name, but by another thing that is closely associated with that in meaning.
Okay, I think I'm kind of seeing.
Alright, so that's good. So let's just jump in. Okay, so you'll notice that almost all of Emily Dickinson's synecdoche is associated with the body.
Okay.
And so she uses this kind of synecdoche not only to talk about the themes within each individual poem, but also to argue in a sort of overarching idea that the body is always at odds with the mind.
Okay.
You're talking a little bit too fancy for me.
okay.
You gotta give me an example.
Alright, so let's just look at this one poem that I brought.
Poem 1551 discusses the idea of the afterlife. So in this poem, the mental desires of the dead and dying are undermined by the metaphysical body of God. So upon death, people expect to reach a position of honor in the afterlife, or heaven. And God's right hand in this poem is used as synecdoche to represent an association of the right side of the body with religion and honor. But the metaphorical right hand has been amputated, leaving only God's left hand, which is by contrast associated with Satanism and Archangel Gabriel, who is an angel of death. So essentially the mind desires goodness in heaven while the metaphysical body provides Satanism in hell, and in this case the synecdoche reinforces that the body and mind are separate and often conflicting forces.
Also, you could argue that through her use of synecdoche and metonymy, Dickinson is also saying essentially that the whole body represents a sort of overarching societal system, and inherently by using synecdoche, she's highlighting individual parts of this body and therefore emphasizing individual autonomy and agency over the external factors that influence the self.
Okay, I think I'm getting this. Let me try this analysis
Here we
thing.
go.
Okay, so, much madness is divinest sense illustrates the point Oriana was making earlier, that by focusing on the individual parts through synecdoche, Dickinson puts an emphasis on the individual. First, the synecdoche is in the second line of the poem, the discerning eye. The eye is representing a part of the individual. The speaker is basically saying that those who are perceived by society as insane or mad are actually the most sensible. They are discerning. This focus on the eye emphasizes the fact that only certain individuals behave this way. She highlights individual emotion and agency in the face of a rigid social structure. Dickinson uses the word majority when referencing the rest of society. She portrays the majority as the ones who have the starkest madness, suggesting that those who live disciplined lives are actually crazy. Okay, Jody, go for it.
In After a Great Pain, you'll see that the synecdoche is very internal as it refers to the nerves in the heart. In the context of the poem, people experiencing pain are figuratively shattered, and Dickens's use of synecdoche mirrors this, since she's literally breaking down the body to its individual pieces. This is again an emphasis on individual agency in a large structure, as by using synecdoche, Dickinson demonstrates that the parts of the body have literally stopped functioning and have therefore shown their individual power.
Okay, so let's just look at one more poem. It's called My Life Had Stood a Loaded Gun.
So this is a persona poem in which the speaker is a loaded gun, which initially is passive and stands in corners, but eventually shifts to being an active force. So after this shift, the speaker smiles with a Vesuvian face. This is a reference to a volcano in Italy, and therefore an example of metonymy, that indicates the speaker is prone to explosive anger and has an internal impulse to act destructively. So we can argue that this internal impulse has always been present, but existed only in the mind and could not be externalized until the owner arrived and carried the gun away. So we can therefore argue that the mind's desires do not reflect the body's actions, which is clear through this example of metonymy.
Dickinson also references the otter duck's deep pillow as another example of metonymy. It represents self-mutilation as the otter duck plucks its own feathers. The speaker states that it is better to guard her master's head than rest in the otter duck's pillow. Since the persona is a loaded gun, this suggests that it is better for violence to be manifested outside your body than expressed through self-destruction. The use of the otter duck in conjunction with the master's head also illustrates the fact that the speaker has emerged from the corners and is now an activated force.
And that's all we have time for today,
Oh, okay.
ladies and
I should put
gentlemen.
my English
Thank you
teacher.
so much. Thank you. Oh, we
Thank
call
you
her
so
right
much
after.
for having
Thank
me.
you so
Thank
much,
you so much.
Oriana.
So great. This was so
I
great.
know she's a little so I don't know what to